Betrayal is not a wound. It's a poison, silent, slow, and corrosive. It seeps into your soul long after the moment has passed, eating away at your peace. And yet, we are told to forgive, to move on. But what if I told you there are betrayals that should never be forgiven? Not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. Because forgiving them isn't a virtue, it's self-betrayal. Type in the comments, "I deserve better than betrayal." Let this be your quiet declaration. And if you believe it's time we start guarding our hearts with wisdom, not blind forgiveness, give this video a like. Every like tells the algorithm this ancient truth must not be forgotten. Today, we unravel a lesson the Stoics understood well. There are 3 betrayals in relationships so destructive, so deeply corrosive, that to forgive them would be to desecrate your own dignity. These are not petty slights, not the common errors of flawed human hearts. These betrayals strike at the very foundation of trust, respect, and sacred bonds. But why does modern society push us to forgive everything? Because we've mistaken softness for kindness. We've confused weakness for compassion. The ancients knew better. Forgiveness, they taught, is a noble path, but only when it serves the soul's integrity, not when it asks you to bleed for the comfort of your betrayer. In this journey, we will walk through ancient wisdom buried in Stoic philosophy, forgotten scrolls, and timeless parables. You'll discover why certain wounds must be honored by distance, not forgiveness. You'll learn the difference between Stoic indifference and self-betrayal, masked as virtue. By the end of this video, you will see betrayal not as a test of your tolerance, but as a revelation, a mirror showing you who belongs in your sacred circle and who must be left behind. This is not a lesson in bitterness. This is a lesson in boundaries. Stay with me. Because once you understand these 3 betrayals, your relationships will never be the same again. Long before the noise of modern life drowned out the whispers of inner wisdom, ancient philosophers spoke of betrayal not as a moral failing, but as a spiritual lesson. The Stoics, in particular, saw betrayal through a lens far deeper than mere personal offense. For them, it was a crack in the natural order, a rupture that exposed the fragile illusion of human bonds built on ego, not virtue. In the dusty scrolls of Seneca, the sharp words echo still. We are more often betrayed by our own hopes than by others' treachery. To the Stoic mind, betrayal was not unexpected. It was the predictable consequence of misplaced trust, of giving your inner peace into the hands of the unworthy. Yet while betrayal was inevitable, forgiving it blindly was not a Stoic teaching. Consider the ancient Roman statesman Marcus Junius Brutus, immortalized in history as the betrayer of Julius Caesar. Brutus was no mere villain. He was once Caesar's confidant, his protege, a man he called "my son" in spirit. Yet when ambition and ideology collided, Brutus's dagger found its mark, not just in Caesar's flesh, but in the heart of trust itself. For the Stoics observing this drama, the lesson was clear. Betrayal is a revelation, not a mistake. It shows you who a person truly is when masks fall away. But the Stoics were not alone. In the forgotten teachings of the Eastern mystics, betrayal was likened to a false mirror. It reflects not who you are, but who the betrayer is. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna warns Arjuna of the dangers of attachment to those who deceive, teaching that spiritual detachment is the shield against such wounds. Yet somewhere along the path of history, we've distorted these lessons. The modern world wraps betrayal in the soft language of misunderstanding and second chances. Forgiveness has become an obligation, a performance of moral superiority, rather than an act of soulful clarity. But the Stoics would urge you to ask, at what cost? True forgiveness, they taught, must come from a place of strength, not surrender. It is not about excusing the inexcusable, but about freeing yourself from the emotional chains of bitterness. However, this freedom does not require reunion. It does not demand that you open the gates of your life once more to those who have proven themselves treacherous. There are betrayals so grave, so deeply corrosive, that to forgive them is to invite chaos into your soul's sanctuary. Betrayals of trust, of respect, of sacred vulnerability. These were not injuries to be healed with cheap forgiveness. They were sacred warnings. As we dive deeper, you will come to see why the Stoics held firm to their boundaries, why they believed that some relationships, once poisoned, must be left to wither, not out of cruelty, but out of reverence, for yourself, for the truth, and for the fragile beauty of trust that once existed. The wisdom you're about to receive is not gentle, but it is liberating. Are you ready to uncover the 3 betrayals that should never be forgiven? The first betrayal cuts deeper than any blade. The betrayal of trust through deceit. Not the harmless lies of politeness, but the deliberate weaving of falsehoods to manipulate, control, or hide true intentions. To the Stoics, this was not merely dishonesty. It was a violation of logos, the rational order that binds the universe and gives meaning to human connection. Imagine a bridge built of stone. Every promise, every act of honesty is a stone laid with care. But deceit is a crack in that structure. Left unchecked, the entire bridge collapses, and with it, the path between 2 souls. Epictetus warned, "It is better to be alone than in the company of false friends." For the Stoics, forgiving such deceit without consequence was as foolish as rebuilding that bridge with crumbling stone. Deceit corrupts the foundation of all relationships. It turns love into suspicion, friendship into calculation, and when discovered, it demands not forgiveness, but clarity. The clarity to walk away, preserving your dignity and your peace. The second betrayal is more insidious, the betrayal of respect through humiliation. This is when someone, often under the guise of jokes or honesty, diminishes you. Publicly or privately, they strip away your worth to elevate themselves. To the Stoic mind, this was an assault on your eudaimonia, your flourishing, your inner virtue. Seneca spoke fiercely against such cruelty. "A wise man is never driven by the opinions of fools," he wrote. But he also warned that staying in the presence of those who belittle you is a form of self-violence. Forgiving such betrayal teaches the betrayer that your dignity is negotiable. It is not mercy. It is self-abandonment. Humiliation fractures the sacred respect that every human being deserves. Once broken, it signals a deeper rot of character, and the Stoics knew. The wise protect their inner citadel, not with anger, but with distance. The third betrayal is the most devastating of all, the betrayal of sacred vulnerability. This is when you open your heart, reveal your wounds, share your deepest truths, and that vulnerability is weaponized against you. In Stoicism, this is the gravest of sins. Marcus Aurelius himself reflected, "When someone harms you after you have shown them your soul, they reveal not their power, but their weakness." Such a betrayal is not just personal. It desecrates the sacred space of intimacy and trust. It is a violation of the implicit contract of human connection. that what is shared in trust remains protected. To forgive this is not noble. It is to invite the serpent back into your garden, knowing full well it will strike again. These three betrayals, deceit, humiliation, and the exploitation of vulnerability, are not ordinary mistakes. They are revelations of character, and to the Stoics, once someone reveals their true nature through such acts, you must believe them. Forgiveness in these cases does not mean reconciliation. It means releasing bitterness while holding firm boundaries. It means learning, growing, and moving forward without dragging the betrayer with you. The ancient wisdom is clear. Not every betrayal deserves your forgiveness. Some deserve only your distance. But here lies a subtle trap. Modern teachings, softened by the desire to appear morally superior, often whisper in your ear, "Be the bigger person, forgive and forget." Yet the Stoics, in their fierce clarity, would challenge you. Why should wisdom require you to forget the lessons pain has taught? Now let us delve deeper into the heart of these betrayals, to uncover the hidden dimensions that are often ignored. Take deceit, for example. In Stoicism, deception is not just a personal offense. It disrupts the cosmic harmony of logos, the divine reason permeating the universe. When someone deceives you, they act in defiance of this natural order. To forgive such an act without discernment is to become complicit in that dissonance. The Stoics urged not blind forgiveness, but an alignment with truth. Truth, after all, is not negotiable. Furthermore, deceit carries a corrosive energy. With every lie uncovered, trust withers, suspicion grows, and the relationship transforms into a battleground of doubts. The Stoic way is not to rage against the deceiver, but to calmly step away, recognizing that the damage is irreparable, not out of malice, but out of respect for what is real. Now consider humiliation, the betrayal of respect. Its harm is far deeper than the sting of wounded pride. To belittle someone is to violate the Stoic principle of oikeiosis, the natural affinity and respect we owe to fellow human beings. When someone repeatedly cuts you down to elevate themselves, they reveal a fundamental misalignment with virtue. The Stoics teach that a wise person does not depend on external validation. Yet they also recognize that continued exposure to disrespect is a silent form of self-betrayal. Remaining in such relationships is like standing beneath a constant drip of poison, eroding your inner peace, drop by drop. Forgiving this without boundaries is not virtue, it is surrender. And what of the betrayal of sacred vulnerability? This, the Stoics would say, is the ultimate violation, not because it wounds the ego, but because it desecrates a sacred trust. Vulnerability is a courageous offering of the soul. When that offering is mocked, exposed, or used as a weapon, it reveals a moral emptiness in the betrayer. Marcus Aurelius counseled himself to be indifferent to insults, but he also emphasized the importance of maintaining one's inner fortress. Forgiveness here is not an open door. It is a release of bitterness without reopening the gates. To do otherwise is to invite further desecration. There's a powerful Stoic paradox at play. True forgiveness is an act of release, but it is not an obligation to reconcile. You can free yourself from anger, from resentment, while still choosing to walk away. In fact, sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is to close a chapter without bitterness, but with unwavering clarity. In the Stoic worldview, the self is a temple. Betrayal, through lies, humiliation, or exploitation of vulnerability, is vandalism of that sacred space. To allow the vandals back in To pretend their actions were harmless is to disrespect the sanctity of your own soul. This is the hidden wisdom. Forgiveness is not a blanket absolution. It is a precise, conscious act. It must serve your inner harmony, not the comfort of those who have proven themselves unworthy. The ancient Stoics would ask you not to harden your heart, but to sharpen your discernment, not to drown in bitterness, but to rise in clarity. Some betrayals are not meant to be forgiven. They are meant to be remembered, not with anger, but with wisdom. Now that we've unmasked the nature of these betrayals, the question becomes, how do we apply this ancient Stoic wisdom in the messy reality of our lives? How do we protect our inner peace without falling into bitterness? How do we guard our sacred boundaries without becoming cold or cynical? The first step is clarity. You must learn to recognize betrayal not by its noise, but by its subtle signs. Deceit often wears the mask of charm. Humiliation disguises itself as humor. The exploitation of vulnerability hides behind false intimacy. The Stoics teach us to see beyond appearances, to judge actions, not intentions. Begin with daily reflection, as Marcus Aurelius did. At the end of each day, ask yourself, who did I trust today? Did their actions align with their words? Did they honor my dignity? This simple practice sharpens your discernment. It transforms vague feelings of discomfort into clear insights. Next comes the art of detachment. Detachment is not indifference. It is the ability to witness betrayal without allowing it to define your worth. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control others' actions, we can control our response. When betrayal strikes, do not ask, "Why did they do this to me?" Instead, ask, "What does this reveal about their character?" In this way, you shift from victimhood to wisdom. But reflection alone is not enough. You must act. Setting boundaries is not a Stoic act of aggression. It is an act of alignment with nature. Just as rivers carve their banks and trees shed diseased branches, you must create space between yourself and those who desecrate your trust. Do this calmly, without vengeance. The Stoics believed that virtue speaks for itself. It needs no defense, no justification. When faced with the betrayal of deceit, respond with silence and distance. Do not engage in endless explanations or seek closure. The Stoic path is to preserve your energy for what serves your growth, not to mend what others have chosen to break. For those who humiliate you, withdraw your presence. Let your absence speak louder than any rebuttal. Remember Seneca's wisdom. Associate with those who make you better. Your environment shapes your soul. Choose it wisely, and when your sacred vulnerability has been exploited, retreat into the inner citadel of your soul. Fortify it with self-respect. Rebuild your walls, not out of fear, but out of reverence for your own depth. Share your soul's treasures only with those who have proven themselves worthy stewards of such intimacy. To aid this process, create a personal ritual. Each morning, as you prepare for the day, visualize yourself surrounded by an invisible shield, a barrier of calm clarity. This is not to keep the world out, but to filter what you allow in. With each breath, affirm, I choose who enters my inner circle. My peace is sacred. This simple practice roots Stoic philosophy into your daily life. Finally, understand this. Forgiveness is a personal choice, not a public announcement. You do not owe it to the betrayer. You owe clarity and peace to yourself. Release resentment, but keep your distance. Move forward, not as a victim, but as a guardian of your own sanctuary. This is how the Stoics would have you respond, not with rage, not with blind forgiveness, but with wisdom, with poise, with unwavering self-respect. In time, you will find that what once felt like a devastating betrayal becomes a profound lesson, a sharpening of your discernment, a sacred reminder of who you are and who you are not meant to carry with you. And now, we arrive at the heart of the matter, the quiet, unspoken truth that Stoicism whispers through the centuries. Not all wounds are meant to be healed by reunion. Some are meant to be healed by release. Betrayal, in its harshest forms, is not a punishment. It is a revelation, a sacred unveiling of who is truly aligned with your path and who merely walked beside you until it no longer served them. The Stoics knew this well. They did not see betrayal as a tragedy to be lamented, but as a necessary fire that burns away falsehood, leaving only the truth. When someone deceives you, humiliates you, or weaponizes your vulnerability, they are showing you who they are, not who you hoped they would be. The pain you feel is not from their action alone. It is from the shattering of your illusion. But illusions are chains. Painful as it is, the breaking of those chains is an act of liberation. To forgive blindly, to welcome back those who have betrayed the sacred bonds of trust, is to invite chaos into the temple of your soul. The Stoics would urge you, do not confuse peace with passivity. True peace is active. It defends what is sacred. It knows when to close the gates. You are not heartless for walking away. You are wise. This journey is not about cultivating anger or bitterness. It is about cultivating clarity, a clear mind, a clear heart, a clear path forward. Forgiveness, when it is chosen from a place of strength, is for your freedom, not for their comfort. So remember this: deceit fractures trust. Humiliation erodes respect. The exploitation of vulnerability desecrates intimacy. These are not betrayals you are obligated to forgive. They are betrayals you are called to learn from. As you carry this wisdom forward, ask yourself, who in my life has shown me their true nature through betrayal? Am I still holding open the gates for those who have proven they do not honor what is sacred within me? Type your answer in the comments. Share your story. Your reflection may be the light that guides someone else out of their own darkness. And if this message has resonated with you, if it has stirred something within your soul, honor that feeling. Like this video, not for me, but as a declaration to yourself. I choose wisdom over illusion. I protect my peace. Subscribe if you wish to walk deeper into the realm of Stoic wisdom, ancient truths, and the practical spirituality that empowers the soul. Remember, not all betrayals deserve forgiveness, but all betrayals deserve your clarity. Thank you for walking this path with me. Would you like me to now provide a YouTube thumbnail concept and title text that perfectly fits this script's tone and emotional pull?